Welcome back, everyone. YouTube, what's up? My name is Seabass and this is Throttle Hobby. Ever been in a car and your windows start fogging up and you go and hit your little defrost over here and nothing happens? Well, today's episode we're going to be replacing a blower in the Beamer, so that way when we're driving down the road on a rainy day like it is today, we don't have to open up the windows. We actually use the system they gave us. So as much as I would have loved for it to be underneath the glove box, it's not. It's in the engine compartment, and that's what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do today, which is install and remove the old one. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So the blower motor is actually all the way in the back side of the engine. So before we get to that, we have to take all this stuff up top out completely. So we'll start with the rubber rails. Just detach them, put them off to the side, just so we have some room in which to work with. Big one. There. Now we're going to get rid of what I assume to be the cabin air filter right there, which is held on by 3 little nubs. Now I'll take the cabin air filter out. There it is. Ooh, I might need to get a new one of those. All right. Next, we gotta take off this giant part, which is gonna be Torx. And we're gonna take off this electric cable panel off that. So next, before we remove that back air filter, cabin air filter holding, we're gonna get rid of this electrical hose housing. So by pulling off the tanks first, moving this out of the way, pulling out the electrical cable out of the holder. Now it seems like we're gonna have to dig underneath here and pull up on this to pop this out. Nope, just like that. So you just grab the underneath side of it, and you pull up, and this little clip comes undone from this channel. So do the same thing on this side. Nope, cool. And that's out. So now we can take off that entire thing. So what we have here is an extension, an adapter for the gun, and T30 Torx. And I'll just pull them out. So now once we get the 4 T30 Torx out, all you do is really just lift that up. It comes out of its place. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but that little back cover back there, that's where the blower is. So before we get to even that part, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off these plastics to make it even easier for us to remove that. So looks like a 10mm here, 10mm here. There seems to be the same covers that I'm missing here. Pop those out. That's a 10mm. That's a 10mm, and we'll get the plastics up and out of the way. 10mm extension. There we go. Remove that. That just looks like it just slides right in there. Next, small flathead or any kind of flathead screwdriver. Pop these little plastic things out. Careful not to lose them. Put them off to the side. Keep everything as tight and together as possible, so that way when you're putting everything back together later on, it goes back in nice and smooth and you know where everything is. But these two are actually going to look like to be 10mm nuts instead. And just because I know it's also holding on, remove the oil cap just for now. Go and fish both of them out. with a magnet. Now this should just slide right off. Just like that. Put the nuts back in these holes so we know where they go. Put this off to the side. And we'll just cap this so nothing falls in there by accident. Get all them coil packs. Alright. So now that we're back here, it seems like the next step is to get rid of that cover. So it seems like there's a little turn knob right there, just like the ones we did before. Just turn that pull out. And it seems to be held on by two 230 Torx. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Start with this. There we go, it's out. So we'll hold on to this. We'll put it off to the side. We'll put it up here for right now. And then we're gonna get those two Torx undone. Might actually just be stuck in there, so we'll leave that one there. We'll get to this one. Now we should be able to just pull this out, just like that, and up. Cool. And there's the cover for the blower motor. It's a dual one, so that's where it is. So we'll try to get a light in there so we can see a little bit better and get into that. So now we got our little light. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little rubber grommet and just fold it down over, just so we can see what we're doing. And it seems like there's a couple of these little clamps. We got our flathead. Okay, that's one. Make sure we don't lose these. Well, those seem to be stuck too, so that's good. That means we won't drop them into the abyss that's known as this engine bay. We'll get this next one. Okay, number two. Put this out of the way. Nope. And now can we pull this out? Is there something else holding on to it? Ah, there's our little culprit. Seems to be a very, very tiny Torx right there holding on the plastic cover. So with this one, it's going to be a T20, and I'm actually going to use a small ratchet. This is a small bolt. I don't want to risk breaking anything. So let's set this to loosen, and we'll try to get at that bolt. Right there. In and turn. Out it comes. So with that being out of the way, now we should be able to just get this out. So I'm gonna start from the bottom, maybe. Oh, there it is. Then we'll work our way to the top. Okay, just want the cover. Cool. I should, in theory, move a lot, unless I made a mistake and there's another thing holding on to it. I don't think that's the case. Nope, just pull. Cool. So, that's out of the way. Revealing our blower motor. So, with the blower motor now being seen, as you can see in between there, it's held on by 1, 2, and 3, 4 Torx. And actually, our new blower motor comes with a new set of these, so we'll be replacing them. As for the connector, we're gonna have to pull this thing out, and I'm sure the connector is actually held on back there. So we'll take that out and test it. So the Torx for these are gonna be a T20. There's gonna be 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we got the motor free, and it looks like we could almost squeeze it through, except one problem. This one end over here is hitting the windshield washer motor. So what we're gonna do is take off the windshield wipers, take off this plastic piece, get to that, remove that out of the way, or try to make some room and pop that out. So first things first, we're gonna remove these little caps. Just use a screwdriver, pop them off. So then the windshield washer bolts will be at 15. Take those out. Oh no. Move this piece too. Do the same thing for over here. So now once you got them off, the best way I like to do is press down on this side and just kind of slightly wiggle them off. Just like that. So next, this is just held on by clips. So we're going to slightly and slowly just pry this up as slow as possible to not break any of the clips. We're gonna do it nice and easy. So that didn't really give us too much room, but I have an idea. I'm gonna go turn the windshield wipers on for just a split second, and hopefully this bar will move out of the way and we can get that out of the way. So I'll give that a try. And it looks like my hunch is correct. That's out of the way, so we should be able to just pop this out now. Oh yeah, just gonna need 2 hands for this. That was a pain in the butt. So the connector over here, couldn't remove it from down under. So what I ended up doing is just grabbing a pair of needle nose pliers. Here's the old one. Came out like this. Also, make sure that you pay attention when you bring this thing out. So when I'm facing the vehicle, the black side is to my left, white side's to my right. So what I did is I grabbed a pair of needle nose. I just squeezed it enough to pop it out its cover just like that. So there's the old one. That was a real pain in the butt to get to. So now the other thing I forget to mention is we got a back plate here. This black one came new, but this metal clamp we actually have to take from the old one and attach it to here. Now I did this real quick and I forgot to videotape it, but let me just run you through it. This tang on the bottom you pop out. This gets loose, and then up top here on the new bracket, this tang just slides up and out. And then you do the exact same thing where you put this tang back in, and then you squeeze this and you just pop this over. Real easy, not that difficult to do. Now we're gonna get this thing back in there and hook it all up and see how it looks. So I was able to get the new motor in. I actually had to take off, there's an extra bolt up here that goes behind that sensor right in the hole, right there. So I just moved this out of the way. I'll have to put this back so the door closes. I got the sensor in. I actually turned the car on. I just wanted to make sure that we are good. This is a new power, and we do have power, because if I go back to this connector here, it lights up. So there is power going here, so this should work. Well, finally got it together, and it works. Hi YouTube, this is Seabass from Throttle Hobby, and I'm making this outro because our other outro is actually on top of the resistor that we put into this car. It was brand new, but we didn't film it because we couldn't get the camera back there. They put it right behind the radio, so there was just no way that we were going to hold the camera, hold the flashlight, and then 2 other screwdrivers to get it off. It was behind the, like I said, behind the radio. We had to take the glove box off, and if I'm not even going to be able to film it, then I'm not even going to show you. So we just did the blower motor. So basically this is going to be the outro. It's a little weird that it's kind of out of the shop or whatever. But yeah, that's what we did it. Because there's no point of me filming something and then not being able to show you guys. Because at that point, it's just like, we're putting the resistor in. And we're done. So there's no point. So I just did the blower motor. And this is just going to be the outro for this. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to say that because I feel like me telling you guys in a post video is going to be a lot easier than me sitting here and trying to put giant text bubbles of why we didn't do the resistor and all this stuff. So it was just easier to get across this way. So my name is Seabass, this is Throttle Hobby, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.